Hello crafty friends, I'm going to bring you along for a little process video today. I have a fun little project that I've been working on. I'm making these sweet little cards. I'm hosting a garden party for about 10 ladies, and I'm very old school and like to give my guests when I host something a party favor. So in the party favor, I like to have a little card and then I tuck in a handwritten note for each guest. So first, I'm cutting out a piece of cardstock, and I think it's about 4.5 by 2.5. Cut it out. I use my little creaser to make sure that it is flat to work with. And then I am using this paper, and for this paper, it lined up. If you have this guy here, it really lines up perfectly when you center it to cut the middle out. If you do not have one of those, of course, you can cut it out by hand using your little blade or your finger blade. I don't have one of those, but you can definitely use one of these. So now that I cut that out, I'm going to get a piece of acetate because I need to cover that circle. So I need my acetate to be big enough to cover that entire circle so none of the beads escape on me. So let me see, I think that one is good. And then this is my favorite glue. My mother used this when she crafted when I was younger, and it just does not disappoint. I also use the Barely Art one for the precision tip, but I find that this one just sticks so well for me. And I think I've asked this before while I'm shaking the bottle trying to get out the glue. What are y'all's favorite glue? What type of glue are you using in your craft room that is just your go-to and you love it so much? As I try to get the glue off, it reminds me I'm on the waiting list at scrapbook.com for the little press that gets out the glue, that pushes out the glue in a little bottle that you can refill. I've seen a few of you ladies using it, and I was like, oh my goodness, I need that in my life, so I am not sitting here shaking a glue bottle. So I just put it on the edges like that, and then just stick it on my circle and just make sure that the circle is fully covered. And then I like to flip it over and make sure that there is no glue. I'm not seeing any, and if there is, I use a wipe. I always keep wipes in my craft room. I buy them from the big box stores. I buy that one from Sam's Club, and I buy a bunch of them and keep them on hand, but this one looks like it's doing pretty good. So then I have used this size foam tape to the back. So I do foam tape on each end, every side, and then just cut it out. And then I just go around every single edge and do that. I love making things into shakers. I just find shakers so much fun. I remember when I was a little girl, I liked to get all of the stuff with the little shakers or the like water and things in it, the little bracelets that have the water in it. I loved those. I feel like that comes out in the craft room still at my age. So I do that. I do it all the way around the edges like that. But then I don't want my beads to sink down all the way to the bottom down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add some foam tape to the top of the circle, and I'm going to get it above the circle because I do not want it to show through. I do it up there, and then I do one down here as well. So I have all of my tape on there, and then I have my card, and I am going to remove piece. You know, those are pretty easy to remove, so I'm going to take off the pieces of this, and I am going to add some beads in the middle of the sorry, I can't get it off. Of course, the only time that, let's see, this will work better. Oh my word. So I'm gonna get these little pieces off like this. And then, do I have all of them? Yes. So then I'm gonna add my sequins mix. And for my sequins mix, I am using a mixture of these 3 colors. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of silver. I spilled these all over my craft room floor the other day, and I was about to go crazy because they were sticking to my feet trying to get out of here and go grab the vacuum to vacuum the rug. It was such a mess, y'all. And then I have these in here. This is a part of some of them that spilled on the top of my desktop that I'm working on here. So I was able to salvage those, but half the bottle did go on the floor, and y'all, that is not the first time that I have done that. I find it's easier for me to work with them when they're in the smaller, more shallow little containers because they don't tip over. So I have that on. So now I'm going to take my card and I am just going to line everything up like so. And then here we go. So in any tape that I have, I just trim off that little tape right there. So that way I have a card. And I'm going to trim this back here as well. So any of that foam tape that sticks out, I just trim off. And then to it, I have this package of beautiful flowers from Hobby Lobby. They are not adhesive on the back, which is fine with me because I would add glue anyway. And then I just add 1 year. I'm gonna add some more glue to that as soon as the glue wants to come out of the bottle. And then I stick it on the front. And there we have it. This beautiful, simple little creation that you can do so many different themes. Use it for so many different themes. I hope that you're all having a good day. Bye-bye.